Greetings, good morning, welcome, and salutations. My name is Michael, I am the Dead Aussie Gamer, and welcome to our world building thing that we're doing, because we're world building today. For those of you who do not know, I'm a professional dungeon master, game master, and all these things involving around and through Dungeons and Dragons, and I am also an absolutely awful tease when it comes to my world of Aulestria, which I've been building for the last few years, actually. There have been constant requests for updates and what I should do for the building stuff. And while we are waiting now for our lovely Hero Forge minis from the Legendary series to be printed and come in our direction, we are going to be doing some world building for the world of Aulestria. So you can see behind me here is the map that we've been working on. There's some pretty cool stuff that has happened there. Am I a little soft? I feel a little soft. Let me know in chat if I am a wee bit soft in the chat. Otherwise, I'll boost myself up. But so what is the goal for today? Today we are going to be building we're just going to be building randomly, to be honest. Like I've got no big plan for today. Honestly, October kind of did take it out of me, and you know, I got to today and I'm like, oh, I don't have anything for my series left. So what do we do today? Let's world build. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys as to where we build and what we do. But obviously, in order to do that, we're going to take some time and get to know my homebrew world of Aulestria. So there we go. So it's we're going to be doing a world building stream. You just asked if I was soft. Yes, thank you. I did. Yes, soft. Yeah, thank you, Laura. I appreciate that. All right, so this is the map of my world, which I made in Wonderdraft, which is a lot of fun. Hello, Janasi and Art Heart Studios. Good to see you guys. Also, some familiar faces here. We have Lance. We have Quilled. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't checked out Quill, Quill actually has their own channel now, which I'm always, you know what? I'm always super excited when I get to welcome people to the content creation community, and I hope that your streams, if they haven't started yet, I hope they're doing well. And if you haven't been, please post them in my Discord. Let me know, because that's the only way I get to find out about things. And of course, a very good morning to you, McBluff. Hello. All right. Now, just real quick before I forget, Janasi, I have just done that thing you've asked me, so that is now done. So you can go do that if you would like to, as well as listen if you would also like to. All right, Mythical Turian, hello, greetings, welcome. All right, so let's meet my world, shall we? Yeah, let's meet my world. Open up my notes here. So the note-taking software that I use is called Scrivener, which let me move my map real quick. There we go. So this is the map building software. I just keep all my notes here. This is just me throwing darts at one of those like little post-it boards. That's more or less how I world build. It's not great. I have a very chaotic mind that is borderline ADHD, so this is just kind of how I work. But, you know, if you guys find a way to do your own world building and actually work in a way that works for you, then I highly recommend doing it, you know? Like, find out what brings you joy, what makes you happy. Yay. All right, so let's talk about the history. So, when I built the, oh God, did I write that much? No, I didn't. Okay, good. Yeah, there we go. All right. So, when I first came about the idea of Aulestria, the first principal concepts of what this world was going to be, you know, what my expectations were, I kind of liked the idea of a world built around the concept of a GM, right? Now, bear with me for this. We have worlds where you have, like, multiple gods, right? And there's pantheons, there's different factions, organizations, depictions of the deities and stuff like that. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a game, a setting where the GM had a place in it. Whenever you play in my world, if you run a game in Aulestria, you are a part of that world as the God of Names. Now, the God of Names is one of the most powerful beings in the world because their ability of wielding creation is using what was very, at the time, loosely called naming magic. So naming magic is one of the most powerful things in the world, and if you get to name something, you imbue it with a portion of yourself and your power. As a GM, and as obviously the big overgod here, whatever you build in your world is what you ultimately put yourself into. You build a character, you give them a name, they now have life. You create a mountain range, you give that mountain range a name, the mountain is now occupied and it's there and it's vivid and you build it. So that is a big part of the spirit of my game, is that you are a creator in this world. Now, that has evolved, and I've kind of made it font magic, and there's a whole other thing about that, but we'll get into that in a minute. But just so that you guys know, when we jump into this, that is the notion. The notion is this is a world of creation. This is a world of my whoever's playing it to be able to express themselves, whether you be a player or whether you be a GM. The GM is just tangibly in this world. So let's start with the history of naming magic. Magic was born into the world through the first spoken words that, of course, say Aulestria. Like rivers cascading down from across the land, magic began to branch into different classes, subsections, powers, and influences throughout the world. Only those who could read and understand the unique symbologies of words could understand what was now known as font magic. Those, however, were the birth of many other different types of magic, including, of course, the magics of the primal, the magics of the occult, the magics of the arcane, and the magic of the divine. These different types of magics would then shape and create and be influenced in the world. There are, of course, a number of forbidden magics that are considered to be banned or banished from a variety of different places. Some whose names may not even be spoken. These magics I have written down as devouring magic, sacrifice magic, and true naming magic. Now, when something gets given a name in this world, it has a thing, right? Like you name a volcano and it has its name, but it also then develops a true name. Now, this true name is like anything that's changed to that true name, either through its written word or through its pronunciation, can actually actively change what happens with that thing. So if you say the word volcano, and it's like the Blackmore volcano, cool, okay, Blackmore volcano. When you say that word with a certain inflection with its true name, you cause it to erupt or flatten it completely. Whatever happens, it changes the meaning of it. So that's forbidden magic. But yeah, that's magic in my world. Now, each of these magics have obviously a different thing, and yada yada yada. True names are terrible because, of course, somebody did use it, and this is why it's forbidden. You can see on my map, there's this little dark crescent moon island looking place. This is called Eclipse. Now, Eclipse was a place where they actually have banished people who are the victims of true naming magic, basically. People who have had their true names removed, and they become these very infectious anti-magic creatures, where all around them basically magic dies. It stains the world and removes color from it. It becomes monochromatic, so very black, grays, and whites are all that's there. And you can actually see on the map, if you look carefully, there's like certain islands and certain places that have started to reach outwards and become corrupted by this. It's not their fault. They're not evil or anything like that, but they are very much treated as, they want to break quarantine, as it were, and everyone's like, no, please don't, and they're like, but we want to, we shouldn't be trapped on this island. It's like, well, you are. So there's a whole thing. Belga, nice to see you. Hey, Dag and chat. Good time zone to all. Yay. Also, thank you, Arjanasi. Sorry, I didn't see where you posted. Thank you for the 500 bits. Very much appreciated. Yeah, thank you so much. Donations, of course, not needed in this stream, but very welcomed, of course, because I won't go into too much details, but let's just say Christmas is hitting my guts really hard this year, and I'm hoping to send some really nice stuff. I'm hoping to send some really nice stuff to Dread. Maybe we'll see, because as many people know, Dread's having a bit of a rough time at the moment. So I'm trying to save up and do something nice for him. All right. So, yeah, that's magic. Now, keeping in mind, during this world building process where I'm, telling you guys about the stuff as we're building, let me know if there is if there's questions that you have. So right now we've gone into magic, which is of course the basic types of magic, which is font magic, which is magic of creation. Now, magic of creation is kind of trickled down over time, so it's not the same magic that the Overgod did, but font magic then becomes things like scrolls and, kind of like word magic, runes, things like that. It kind of evolved into other things as well. Then we have primal magic, which is our magic of nature, magic of the natural world, the manipulating of the elements and stuff like that. The Black Isle reminds me of Ulthwain of Warhammer. Yeah, a little bit. It's very much a steampunk type area where magic is devoid of magic. It's just all technology. They actually have like metal steam engines in that area there, but everywhere else is kind of in the Middle Ages, as it were. So primal magic is the magic of nature used by druids, etc. Druids and witches. Those people. We have magic of the arcane, which is magic manipulating magic manipulation. So basically there is arcane magic everywhere, and the people who command and control it are like wizards, sorcerers, etc. We then have occult magic. Now, occult magic is like the dark arts, as it were. It's what we're going to be calling, I mean, maybe we'll call it the dark arts, but I mean, it's always loaded when you call things like, name things like that. But yeah. Anyway, so the cult, usually you're looking at things like the warlocks and, I mean, technically witches as well. But you know what I mean? Like, this is all of the stuff that is the borderline supernatural. And then we have, what was it? Primal, arcane, divine. Divine is power, magic from the deities, which covers clerics, paladins, etc., etc., etc. All right, forbidden magic. Font magic, true naming. Just writing these down. There we go. So basically, manipulating true names is forbidden. Devouring magic, which is stealing, removing, absorbing magic or life from others. No, I think that's a bad way of saying it. It's not like, yeah, it's not quite necromancy. It's basically stealing or removing something. Yeah, I can't really go into it too much. I mean, we'll go into okay, you know what? Let's talk devouring magic. So, powers of. All right, let's talk about devouring magic. So, in the world of Aulestria, I wanted to put a big emphasis on food, right? The idea of like magic potions, for example, like how do magic potions taste? Like what is the benefit of being really good at being able to brew magic potions? Shouldn't that be that you get to brew a higher quality magic potion? The same way you go to a restaurant and you eat where a chef is more skilled, right? Like the food is tastier. So why shouldn't food and magic be one and the same and also have that different gradients? So in my world of Aulestria, the consuming of potions and things like that is a magic in and unto itself. Very similar to alchemy, food also carries a certain weight. So let's talk about the humble potato. The humble potato is staple, it's starchy, it's delicious. You can eat it on its own. Hell, there are some people out there who eat it raw, right? Will you gain any benefits from it? Of course not. It's a potato, right? But you take that potato and now you add some influences to it. Let's say that this potato was grown in magic-rich volcanic soil, right? So now what happens is this potato becomes a high quality ingredient. High quality ingredient. Let's call it a. You know what? Let's. But while I'm writing this down, let's actually take note of this so that I can, you know. So I mean, if I'm making stuff, I may as well keep track of it, right? Add new folder, food ideas. Add new box, ingredients. All right, so potato. So grown in magic-rich volcanic soil. This particular breed of potato has a rich and gritty texture. A rich taste and gritty texture. While many find it difficult to eat on its own, its unique flavor, its unique smoky flavor, is popular in barbecue dishes. Alright, there you go. And we can call it, maybe, what should we call it? Magic Fire Tato. We can call it, Incato. Incado potato. That's what I'm calling it for now. Incado potato. So what is important about that? Well, because it was grown in this particular area, it is now considered to be a rare ingredient. Oh, sorry, what did I say before? I said a high quality ingredient. So this is as a high quality ingredient. Boost any fire effects from a meal made with Incanto potato. Now, what's this? What's the important bit of this? So, let's say that we make dragon breath curry. Dragon's breath curry requires you to use particular types of meats, spices, vegetables, and the like in order to make it. Upon eating dragon's breath curry, you would basically then be able to breathe fire a number of times per day. Now, this is just if you use basic ingredients. If you then utilize a magic ingredient, such as the Incado potato, better get it right. If you utilize that potato, then what you actually do is you bolster the fire effect. So instead of doing a D4 fire damage when you breathe fire, you're now doing a D6 because you used Incado potatoes. So there's so basically the consumption of magic is very commonplace, and it's based on the rarity of the food you find, the quality of the cooking that you do. Because again, you could also take these potatoes, try and make it, and fail, and then it's not magic. So that's the whole thing. Now, you'll see why that's important in a moment. The idea of what is considered to be food magic or consumption magic is fine. That's always kind of been there, and it's it's not really frowned upon in any way. But the origins of it are, and this is where we are now going back to talk about magic. So, to tell you about devouring magic, I need to tell you about the history of Aulestria, and so we're going to do that right now. This is a novel series Elemental Gatherer. Oh, there is a novel series Elemental Gatherers where magic uses eat meat from elementals to absorb the elemental powers. Yeah, very similar to that concept. I love the idea of eating to gain power. Like, that's always kind of cool. All right. The history of my world. First, we have the Age of the Abyss. Now, a lot of people assume the Abyss is like the D&D Abyss. My version of the Abyss is simply the Endless Void. It is the place where there was nothing, and demons, as they were, or should I say the Clipoth, as they may be known, are called the Nameless. These were the creatures that existed before the birth of anything. Then came the GM, who is the god of names, who birthed the cosmos, the planes, the different shadow, astral, material, elemental, all those planes came into being. Then Aulestria was created. as names were being given to things, gods and deities and pantheons were created as well, as embodiments of those elements, as well as the arbiters of their, I guess, their purpose, their function, right? Then was the rise of the Titans. The Titans themselves were basically just berserk elemental forces crashing against each other, which eventually came into control by the god of nature. Around this time, of course, life began to spring up, and so with life came, of course, destruction. So that then created gods of life and destruction, destruction and death, should I say. But this god of destruction was furious, basically completely enraged, didn't like the idea of having competition, thought that the god of naming was a toothless god, and broke one of the cardinal rules. He went down to the planet in his true form and started breaking things, basically destroying everything he could, because he figured, hey, I work so damn hard. If I break everything, then I don't need to break anything because nothing's there. So as time went on, he ended up forgetting his name and getting corrupted and transforming into a beast. The beast he transformed into was the Tarrasque. The Tarrasque rampaged across the world, and some of the races, the older races, banded together in order to defeat him, which they did. They, after a very hard-fought war, they broke apart his body, scattered it around Aulestria, and, basically vowed to keep him at rest till, the end of days. Now, this is where things got interesting. One of the dragons, who, basically, helped defeat him, tried to unlock the power and the secrets behind the godlike strength of the Tarrasque, and learnt what was known as devouring magic. Now, consumption magic and devouring magic are a little bit different. A consumption magic thing is where you inherit a property that you have created using magic, right? Whereas devouring magic is about taking something permanently from someone else. So, devouring magic is where you would say, take an elf, eat the elf, and you would suddenly gain the racial abilities of an elf. Or if you were to take a rust monster and you ate the rust monster, you would then take the property of the rust monster. This is what devouring magic is. So devouring magic and consumption magic are two very different things. And devouring magic is forbidden because the more that you devour, the closer to that god's power you become. So while it won't necessarily resurrect the Tarrasque or anything like that, eventually that lust for consumption, that gluttony for power, is just ceaseless and endless, and that's why it's forbidden. Because it's not a temporary effect. You eat something with devouring magic, you permanently gain that power, and then you continue to do this, and it snowballs until a point where you are too powerful to be stopped. Devouring diablerie in Vampire. Basically, in a nutshell, I think very similar. Vampirism is a little bit different because vampires, they don't steal your strength or anything like that. Well, they do, but they suck your vitae. You know what I mean? They share it. There is a finite resource that goes into it, whereas it's not exponential. Like a vampire doesn't become more powerful from consuming. A vampire simply doesn't die, right? Whereas devouring magic is very much you will keep growing in strength exponentially. So yeah, that's magic. All right, let's where did my magic thing go? There it goes. All right, so forbidden magic, gaining powers through devouring. Yep. Exponential growth. Yep, that's it. Forbidden magic. Okay, so we got font magic, we got devouring magic. Should I add another? I mean, because here's the thing: should I add another forbidden magic? Things that are forbidden, like schools of magic. In Vampire the Masquerade, when a vampire diablerizes an older one, he gets some of the killed vampire's power permanently. Yes, but eventually that stagnates, because you see what happens if you. All right, here. Let me show you this. This is a good example of it. Let's say that I have 5 cards. Cool. And let's say that you have 2 cards because you're a weaker vampire, right? You devour the eldest, right? And you absorb some of their powers. Cool. Let's say you absorb 4 of my power, right? 2 of it goes into the ether. Then along comes another vampire. Vampire has 1 card. You then attack that vampire, and you manage to steal 4 of their power, and you've still got 5. So the way the Vampire the Masquerade has their devouring stuff, it doesn't grow exponentially. You don't gain all the powers, and it doesn't continue to grow, and the powers don't fluctuate in a way that expands them beyond the realms of possibility. Like, for example, let's talk devouring magic. Let's say that a dwarf eats a purple worm. Then his body turns purple. His teeth become razor sharp that it can eat through rock. His natural armor goes out the gate, and he can now move his body in ways that are not natural to a dwarf with a bone structure. Then let's say he eats a manticore. All the fur, all the hair on his body suddenly become quills, and he can now shoot them. Let's say then he eats a dragon. He can then breathe fire. Again, it just grows and grows and grows until he becomes this thing, this giant monstrosity. And that's kind of the nature of devouring magic. McBluff, what are the rules on controlling magic, like mind control, charming magic when you aren't in a person's power? I think I've never had a problem with mind control or mind manipulation magic. I think, I don't think that there's ever really been an issue for me in that regard. Like, I've always kind of looked at it as it's not nice to do, but, like using dominate on a vampire using dominate on an evil villain to do good, or using a Gias to make them do good, is not an evil thing. It's not a bad thing. It's definitely not cursed. Hey, Haunted Miniatures, nice to see you, buddy. How you doing? We're doing some world building. We're focusing on the magic of our world. More accurately, erasing names from memory. Erasing names is like one of the worst things you can do to someone. Yeah. All right. So that's consumption magic. I like consumption magic. That's the thing. What was the other thing? I had another thing. Luck magic. Magic that is wild and behaves on chance. That's another type of magic in my world. So there's font magic, primal, arcane, occult, divine, consumption, luck. Cool cards. Thank you. These are really cool cards. These are the plot twist cards. But if the dwarf eats a banana, does he turn yellow and grow a peel? He would gain the strengths of a banana. So, like a banana, for example, what would one say the robustness of a banana is? What does a banana give you? Google will tell me, because Google's very useful. Let's see. Bananas can benefit with weight loss, digestion, and heart health. Okay, there you go. So that could be possibly it. Yep. So basically, he eats a banana, and he maybe has easier time digesting, and is less prone to heart disease. There you go. That could be it. Alright, so bananas grow best in the full sun. Leaves of fruit will sunburn, scorch when bright lights are high. Some locations, they like to be in the shade. Banana plants are not a tree. I mean, okay, so here's what I would do if he ate a banana, right? This is what I would do. If a person who is utilizing devouring magic, which is a forbidden type of magic, like people notice when that happens, and you eat a banana, I would say that you would have the ability to emit a sweet smell, even grow organs that would fundamentally taste like a sweet fruit or a banana, which you would then be able to use as a lure. And it would have like a very very appetizing smell, because for me that's the fundamental strength of fruits, right? Is they are designed for consumption so that people move closer to the plant, eat the plant, eat the fruit, and then poop out the seeds. That's the nature of it. So in this particular case, that's how I would utilize it. Dwarf eats a banana, and is now able to grow those fruits. So there you go. Does mind altering magic not destroy their being to a degree and go against the very basis of free will? Yes, it does. Absolutely. But free will is not a concept of good and evil. Having free will and not having free will, at least in my opinion, is not a concept of good and evil. There are definitely people out there who could definitely go without that free will. And I saw it the other day when it came to, like, someone was explaining it. Free will is not something to be exerted just because it's available to you, right? Like if you're looking at a pie, right? And the pie is divided evenly, right? For everyone to have a slice. But then someone decides to take a big slice from the middle. Yes, they're exerting free will, but the injustice of it is that they have no consideration for the people around them. So removing the free will of that person to take however much they want is not a evil or kind of like a devious thing. It's actually quite reasonable and just to be able to say, no, you may have a piece of the pie and the rest is for everyone else. So no, mind affecting magic in my world, nor domination or any of these things is inherently evil or bad. But it will come down to what you make that other person do, and whatever your whim is, as it were. If your whim is to possess someone to cut the middle of a freaking pie up, then yeah, that's unjust and that is evil and that's bad. But if you're like, no, you need to behave, an inquisitor can take out a brand a criminal, and say, cool, if you commit evil, that brand will glow and we're going to arrest you. No questions asked, because that brand is magic and it will, bam, there you go. Philosophy pie. But there you go. Yeah, maybe actually, you know what? That's going to go into my food list. I'm going to add that to my food list. Where are we at? Food ideas. Add new text. Dishes. I'm going to actually also make humble pie and philosophy pie. Advantage on wisdom saves. There you go. Wisdom saves and insight checks. Done. Boom! Wisdom pie. I like it. Alright. Done there. All right. Okay, so let's have a look. All right. So, do I want a third forbidden magic? I guess is the question. The question there is, do I want a third one? Let's see, what else do we have? I read that bananas are slightly radioactive. I mean, maybe. I like it. Thanks for indulging this idea. No, that's what this is about. This is about just hanging out and chilling. By the way, again, we're just doing a bit of world building, but if you guys have any questions or anything you'd like to talk about, please feel free to throw them out in chat. That's what we're doing. We're just hanging out today. Names are the basis of creation, so yes, names have power mythic. Yeah. Names have power. Is that a thing in your world? Yes. Sorry, missed that one. Hello, AK. Hi, AK. Does philosophical pie have to be made with philo dough? Maybe it does. I have to share some of the stuff I saw in the Gastro Obscura book I got with you, Dad. Yes, you definitely do. 3 is satisfying. I like 3. Yeah, I like 3 too. All right, so forbidden magic. Let's see. What do we forbid in our world? So we're forbidding true naming. We're forbidding devouring magic. We need to forbid something, and we need to forbid it for a good reason. Now, I'm going to talk about necromancy. I'm not locking it in. I'm just going to talk about it. Necromancy, the manipulation of the cycle of life and death. Now, I've always liked the idea that necromancy has been life and death. Pardon me. But D&D doesn't. D&D has made... let me just check this before I put my foot in my mouth. Cure Wounds 5e. So, unless they've changed it from what I remember, which they might have, Cure Wounds is a evocation spell. What? An evocation spell? Whatever. Anyway, in Pathfinder and D&D 3.5, Cure Wounds was a conjuration spell. Conjuration magic. And in D&D 5e, it is evocation magic. So with that in mind, right, like, necromancy slowly devolved from being a magic about life and death to just death in general. Yes. I was saying the magic of forgetting or stealing names. So that's what true naming is. True naming is the manipulating or forgetting or stealing of names. So that's still true naming, Lance. So the idea of necromancy has changed. So necromancy as it is right now features a bunch of spells and abilities that animate the dead or manipulate those who have passed on. This is usually considered blasphemous, as, you know, if you kind of follow the history of like, you know, human culture, one of the things that defined us as being an empathetic creature was the fact... I'm gonna get a coat. Give me a second. I need a drink. No. Yeah. I'll be back. Okay. Yeah, look, I'm not so embarrassed as to not say that I need some sugar. I need some sugar. All right. So yeah, mad caffeine addiction. No, it just gets to a certain point. Like, look, you guys know how many hours I usually do, so I'm never ashamed to yawn. I'm not ashamed to say when I need my little sugar fix. So necromancy has evolved into dealing with death more than anything else, right? So I want to steer away from that, I think, in my world. I don't want necromancy to just be, it is evil and it is about death. Now, let me be clear on this. The raising of the dead, yes, that's evil, like flat out. You need to work hard, and then maybe your necromancy, like for raising the dead, might be considered a neutral act. It will never be a good act in my world, flat out. But necromancy shouldn't only reveal to that. Like, for example, speaking with dead, right? So you can talk to the dead. I don't see a problem with that, like seances and things like that. That's definitely in the realm of occult magic, and I've got no problem with that. So I don't want to basically forbid, death magic, as it were. I do not. Luck magic could be forbidden, tied to some wheel of fortune. If used too often, then the wheel could turn to disaster, or fortuna might play a deafening volume. Okay. See, luck magic for me, I don't want to make forbidden, because luck magic, I mean, I feel like it's childish. I know that sounds weird, but it's like whimsical, it feels playful, and I want that in my world. I definitely don't want people to not be manipulating luck, because I definitely like randomness as well. Because that's the other thing. Is remember when you make something forbidden, like you shouldn't be using it. Like that's the thing is, these are things that shouldn't appear in your world, or shouldn't appear often in your world, like almost never. Is there an order of necromancy whose origin was to guide the souls into the afterlife? I mean, yeah, maybe I could do that. Maybe I could do that. But see, that's really cool. I love that idea. But I think, again, it justifies what I was saying. Like necromancy shouldn't be a forbidden art, but maybe there is something in necromancy that could be. Maybe there is something within necromancy that could be a forbidden art. What about the destruction of the soul? What about the absolute destruction of the soul? What if we have... I mean, what about the manipulation of the soul, too? Like... Okay, so you raise dead, you raise a ghost. No, that's... Because I'd like to... Like, one thing... Okay, so back in the day, there was an anime called Bleach. I used to love Bleach as a kid. And one of the things that they talked about was a group known as the Quincy. The Quincy used energy weapons, bows and arrows, in order to slay ghosts or evil spirits known as hollows. Whereas the Shinigami, which were the death gods, used these magical swords designed specifically for that purpose. Now, when a Shinigami kills a hollow, their soul discorporeates and returns back to the great cycle of life and death. But when you slay a hollow with a Quincy weapon, because it's pretty much just raw energy, it destroys the hollow permanently. The trouble is that with the hollows being destroyed, and hollows being, of course, corrupted souls, eventually, if the Quincy were allowed to continue killing hollow, there would be no souls left to be reborn, and that would cause huge problems. So I like the idea that of the destruction of souls in that way has a similar effect. Like, it's forbidden for you to destroy a person's soul. Like, you can destroy their body, sure, but then their soul needs to go to the afterlife and do its thing and yada yada yada. Even if it's stuck, it needs to be returned, but that's still a thing. So I'd love to do something with that, but I can't pin down that idea yet. I can't figure it out yet. I'm not ashamed to pock. Not ashamed to pock, are you? Ah, well, that's okay. I'm very used to you pocking at me. Lance? Poke. Magic negation, similar to the creation of the void magic. The void wasn't created. The void is the abyss, and the void is just there. Hey, Oracle, how you doing? How you doing? Pock, pock. The souls belong to the gods' religious authority, so it might ban soul manipulation, but secular authorities don't consider it their area. But it needs to be a category of magic. That's the thing. We need to forbid a category of magic. I wouldn't say anti-magic, because again, I want that in the world. Soul magic. Let's have a look at some soul magic. What D&D magic has the word soul in it? Blood magic? No, I like blood magic. I think blood magic's cool, and I want that in the world. Let's have a look. Soul magic. Soul cage. Hey, you know what? Actually, that's not a bad idea. Like, I mean, look, to be honest, there's only one spell. Let's try Spirit. We are world building today. We are, Oracle. Healing Spirit, Spirit Guardian. Animate dead. Summon undead. Toll the dead. Alright, so it doesn't look like there's too many things. So let's, So, okay, so let's call it this. Let's call it soul magic. The destruction or reshaping of a soul. There we go. I like that. So what if that's the thing there? Stupid question. You are looking for variants of magic forbidden by whom? Okay. So no, that's not a stupid question. It's a great question. So the magic would be forbidden by the overgod. So so I probably need to explain the gods now. But yeah, so basically the GM in my world is a god of names. So, that's basically your position if you sit down to play in my world and run a game. So you're that person, you are this entity, and there are rules that were set by that god to say, don't do these things or else, and do not dip into these forbidden magics because these are problems. Now, the person who would have told everyone about it would have been Iraldin and Iraldi, but I have to go over it. All right, cool, excellent. So now I've got the forbidden magic down. We can continue. So, my magics are primal magic for the magic of nature, the arcane magic for magic manipulation throughout, various different types, occult magic, which is obviously the dark arts, warlocks and witches, etc., divine magic for magic of the gods, consumption magic, which is magic from eating and devouring magic, reagents and potions and things like that. Luck magic, which is magic that behaves on chance. And then of those categories, we have font magic, true naming is banned. Consumption magic, devouring magic is banned. And from occult magic, soul magic, which is also banned as well. That's it. Yay. Done. All right. So, So we now have the principles of magic. All right. Let's look at the major gods. Now, this is the major history, more or less, of my world. So, any questions, ask them in chat. I'm going to go through the whole thing, and then we'll get to the very end. We'll ask questions, we'll build, we'll add, we'll evolve. Okay? But yeah, it's quite a bit, so I'm gonna do this in my narrator voice. So, you ready? Here we go. Got my drink. I didn't even have it. Okay, so these are the bios and the histories of the gods as we see them. The first of which is the nameless god. He is the god of names. He has no known domains, an unknown alignment, no known favored weapon. There is no church which exists to him, nor are there any worshippers beyond the gods themselves who know of his existence. His avatar is a pale horse with golden eyes. At the beginning of creation, there was an endless void, simply referred to as the abyss. From within its darkened reaches, the nameless horde swarmed, feasting on one another. The nameless god saw folly in this eternal struggle, and birthed the cosmos into being by granting it a portion of his power and giving it a name. At first, little had changed. The darkness still stretched out endlessly, but the nameless horde had retreated. The god of names then began to create, igniting his will into naming the stars. One of which they were most fond of would become known as the sun. By doing so, he then also birthed the first gods, Rainova and Lindal, the god of the sun and night. The nameless god realized that the scope of his power and... let me try that again. The nameless god realized the scope of his power and the great responsibility it held. To keep him abreast of all he had created and ensure the task before him was straight and true, he named wisdom and knowledge, which gave birth to Iraldin and Iraldi, god of magic, knowledge, and time, charging them with the divine duty of distributing his power among his children and other creations. So, just to take a brief from the backstory here. So, Rainover and Lindal are the oldest of the gods. They are basically light and dark, sun and moon, etc. But we've always seen depictions of the sun and the moon kind of in kind of competition with each other. In my world, both Rainover and Lindal are in love. They're lovers, and they chase each other, frolicking in the night and the day. They are on very, very good terms. They just have different personalities. That's all it comes down to. Rainover is bright and vibrant, and all of these sorts of things. And Lindal is kind of mysterious and enjoys the darker elements of things. But they are still deeply in love, which I like that story. Iraldin and Iraldi were twin gods that shared a particular role, but that changed, and they became my first very non-binary character, because back when I was writing this was around the time where people were saying like, hey, there's not representation in a lot of places. So I actually created one of my gods is a non-binary god who Iraldin is their personality when they are feeling male, and Iraldi are their personality when they are more female inclined. So depending on how they're presenting depends on which god they worship, and there are depictions of both, neither, and everything along the spectrum. So I loved that idea because time changes you. Time and knowledge can shape you, and that was one thing I wanted with that. All right. So Iraldin and Iraldi are responsible for divvying out magic. So if you piss them off, basically, if you spurn the god of magic, he can just go, and just turn it off. So that was one of the important elements, is I wanted people to understand that magic was a gift, and again, there was a character in the Pantheon who could switch it off in a whole area as well. So there we go. All right, so the next creation by the god of names was substance. Fire and ice existed. There was no god until While fire and ice existed, there was no name until the goddess Gidnera, god of nature, and all the elements were built and used as the building blocks for this new universe. Gidnera saw into the vast and seemingly endless expanse and thought the task may be too monumental to fill this void. Thus she created elemental beings, creatures of immense strength and power, in order to create more within the emptiness. Her children would become known as the Titans and brought fury and chaos everywhere they went. I didn't write this here, but each of these Titans were born, and the place of their birth would become an elemental plane. So the Titan of Fire was born in the elemental plane of fire. No wine. That's okay. Put Coke in a wine glass. It's makes you feel like you're drinking wine. Elemental plane of fire was where the fire titan was born. Elemental plane of earth was where the earth titan was born. Etc., etc., etc. So that was the nature of it. Then they clashed all over the universe, creating planets, asteroids, stars, etc., etc., etc. In this chaos was born the planets and celestial bodies. In addition, pieces of the Titans would remain and rampage across the planet's surface. These are the elementals as we know them. However, this was not the plan that the nameless god had. He instructed Gidnera. I don't know where that came from. I have a beep. Oh, right. No, that's beeping because it's saving my map. Okay, I see what you're doing. I'm just going to very quickly mute that so you guys don't have to hear that beep every so often. There we go. All right. Where was I? Yes. So, the nameless god did not have this intention. Here we go, yes. So this is not the plan that the nameless god had intended. He instructed Gidnera to then seal off the Titans forever and destroy her offspring. Doing as she was told, Gidnera sealed the Titans within their own realms. These realms of the elemental planes. However, as for the children of the Titans, which she viewed as grandkids, she could not bear to kill them. Instead, allowed them to slumber upon the planets which they occupied, which again became the elementals. All the while, another deity was born, stirring quietly. Unknown to Gidnera, the first evil deity was born, his name lost to the ages, for he was also the first to have their name taken from them, the god of destruction. He asked for but one power from Iraldin, the ability to unmake, destroy, and consume with his power. There we go. He brought low countless budding worlds and set sights on a favorite of the god of names, Aulestria. The god of names spoke to Iraldin and laid down final rules for the divine to follow after the wake of his son's destruction. These divine rules were never to be broken, not even by the gods themselves. Rule number 1. You may not destroy the space between the stars. Rule 2. You may not create what you are not willing to destroy. Number 3. You may not act against your divine brothers and sisters. Act 4. You may not rule in the house of your divine brothers and sisters. 5. You may not take power from Iraldin or Iraldi. Number 6. The material realm will be granted the gift of life, of which the divine may no longer directly interfere. And final, and most important rule, you may not manifest your corporeal form upon the material realm. Once these rules came into being, so too did Azalia, the goddess of life, which made the god of destruction furious, seeing Azalia as a direct rival and her incursion into Aulestria as a welcome while he was banished. The god of destruction snuck onto the material plane, taking on the form of a great beast and killing as much of the new life as possible. His rampage shifted continents, sundered lands, tore oceans. He was certain that the nameless god was a toothless warrior and could do little about his divine nature. But as he rampaged, he began to lose more and more of who he was, until, upon the 12th day of his rampage, he forgot his own name. Confused, beaten, he lay down and slept, to think on who he was. Those who remember the 12 days of destruction would forever give him a new name, the Sleeping Armageddon, the Beast of Beginning, the Tarask. Not wishing for her brother to return and destroy all that she had created, she taught the mortals how to wield the powers of magic, rituals, and runes. This was the earliest forms of magic on Aulestria and was used to bind, tear, and destroy the Tarask, removing pieces in order to scatter them across the continent. After the Tarask's body was halted and bound, Azalia gave birth to a new god, part Titan, Nibera, who would become the goddess of death. Now, prior to this age, only elves, fairies, the guildfolk, dwarves, dragons, etc. were in existence. But once the Tarask was killed and blood, bone, bile, organs were mixed into the world, that is what gave birth to monsters. So monsters in this world are creatures that were not born of Azalia. So like, for example, the orcs. And don't worry, orcs don't stay this way, but orcs were originally born to the blood of the Tarask, and thus they were considered monsters for the longest time. There was a war that happened, and then they eventually developed, or should I say, they were given the gift of sentience, and now they're kind of, able to do what they want. Some of them still like to be proud, powerful orcs, and others try to blend in. It's a whole thing. But yeah. All right. Hey, Dag, do you know the story of the Rainbow Crow? I do not. Do I? No, I don't. I do not know the story of the Rainbow Crow. Just like you utter one word, make it a world, and then, other shenanigans. Yeah, basically. Just me. No Australian is crazy enough to build, just like no one from the States is masochistic enough to create the States. No, I mean, I create. I mean, Aulestria is a play on the word Australia, so I mean, there you go. May you share it with me? Yes, you may. Please, please, by all means, do. Sorry, I'm just catching up on chat. Makes it look like a deep wine from a distance. Yeah, it kind of does actually. Yeah, especially if you like have it in the light, it kind of looks like maybe a Guinness. Very bad Guinness, but yeah. Okay, so that is the birth of the gods and the world as it was at the start. So from there we went into the Dragon Wars, and I'm not going to read through all of it. I'm just going to abridge it because again I want to find out what you guys think I should be working on. The Great Dragon War was a time where the dragons, the elves, all the old races were kind of finding their own places now that the Titans and the Tarrasque weren't around. And dragons wanted to wield the power of true names. That was their big thing. They created a race that was partially capable of it, and that was the humans, who became a servitor race. But the humans broke free, allied with the other races, taught them the power of names and font magic, which was what the dragons were using. Dwarves repurposed it into like rune magics, the elves into art magic, etc., etc. But for the most part, they took what they learnt and overthrew the dragons in the Great Dragon War. Some dragons sided with the mortal races. These would become the metallic dragons, and they eventually, once everyone was defeated, once the dragons were beaten, the metallic dragons took the chromatic dragons and literally dragged them away. They said, "Yep, the dragons will leave Aulestria in peace, and do not go to this place if you know what's good for you." And that was the nature of it. So that was the Dragon Wars. At that point, humans were now introduced into my world. Hello, Sandberg X Fries. Thank you so much for the follow. If we've not met before, my name is Michael. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer, and I run games for D&D. Today we're just sitting around, chilling out, doing some world building, just hanging out. I have no plan on what I'm world building. I'm just kind of reviewing all my world stuff. And if you've got anything that you think I should be adding, or anything you think you'd like more clarification on, it'll just help me keep building my world. So yay, welcome in. All right. The rise of humans. The rise of humans. With a quiet victory over the dragons, peace settled over Aulestria, and humans began to expand. At this point, two gods rose into prominence. That was the god of innovation, Volum, and the goddess of nobility, Sapphira. So there you go. Never played D&D before, but I love storytelling and world building. Oh, that's awesome. If you do, then I highly recommend trying some D&D. Like it's like some of the best stuff for that sort of thing. All right, so yeah. So I could go, if you guys want, and I'll only do this if you want, I could give you some details on the gods that I have thus far. But that being said, I don't like the idea of like a ton of gods that you have to remember, like I think about the Forgotten Realms and it makes my eyes like spin when I think about how many major gods there are, right? Like, I think there should be a god of basically everything, right? Like, I think there should be, but I don't think you as a player should have to remember each of them. So I'm thinking, like, my pantheon should be, like, 10 gods that are important, and then, like, the rest of them are, like, yeah, whatever. So, yeah, that's my nature. That's what I believe. So, yay or nay in terms of... let me know if my message didn't send. Sometimes Twitch did 6 months ago. No, I didn't get your message. McBluff. So is that a yay or a nay? Yay on talking about gods, or nay to move on? Actually, you know what? Let's do a poll. I'm going to do a 1-minute poll. Here we go. Manage poll. New poll. Topic. Gods. Let's see. What else can we talk about? We can talk about the gods. We can talk about more on the magic side of things. Not really. I mean, we kind of touched on magic. We could create a monster, mythical monsters. I could tell you about the great dungeons of Aulestria. Those are always good. We could look at the continents. Or we could look at Organizations. Actually, I like that. Organizations. There you go. What is going to be our topic? I'm going to put that for a... It's just a quick 1 minute one. 1 minute timer. It's a Native American story about how fire was created. There once was a bird called the crow whose feathers were brilliantly colored. One day, the creator deity made the snow and winter and everything began to die. Continued. Some of the history of Aulestria myth. Yeah. The history, so, long story short, dragons attacked. Big dragon war. Good dragons took away the bad dragons. And then humans started spreading everywhere. The crow offered to fly up to the deity and ask the deity to get rid of winter, but the deity explained that it was created and could not be destroyed. Instead, the deity gave the crow fire to bring it back down to earth. By doing so, the fire burnt the crow's feather, and the smoke destroyed its beautiful singing voice. In thanks for the crow's sacrifice, the creator deity made so that the crow had been too burned by the fire to be tasty and thus wouldn't be hunted. If you look closely, the crow still has a slight rainbow sheen in its wings. Ah, that's cool. I like that. Talking about organizations. All right. Organizations it is. So, all right. So I haven't actually built too many organizations in Aulestria. So this is actually a good place to pick up. Now, let's start by looking at the map. Okay. So I've got multiple continents here. We've got this continent here, which still doesn't have a name. The Eclipse Island, which is this area here in the middle. We have Wilderon and Kashina, which are over here, which is my anthro-animal races. The Elven Kingdom up here. The Merfolk Kingdom. We have the jungles, like the South American jungles that are over here, which are kind of cool. And then we have the icy, frigid, kind of wastelandy kind of places. So we're gonna start from over here at the Dragon Tier Lake, and we're gonna make some organizations. Sound good? Good, excellent. I'm glad. All right. So let's shrink this down a bit, shall we? There we go. And then here we go. All right, so we're looking at the Isle of Dragons. This is our first location. All right. And by the way, McBluff, it is a beautiful folk story. I do like that, and I definitely want to sit down and make some folk stories for this world as well too. I'm a big fan of Hero Forge 2. Great place to jot down characters. Oh man, yeah, absolutely. In fact, as we do this, we'll make some Hero Forge minis as well. We'll maybe make some people for this organization. Make a notable NPC. All right. So, looking at our first character. Now, the thing about the Isle of Dragons, let me tell you the story. So, when the dragons left Aulestria, they promised to never come back. They decided, you know what we're gonna do? We're going to take all the evil dragons. We're gonna imprison them inside somewhere here in this Isle of Dragons. You are not to go there. No one's allowed to do that. In fact, the entire kingdom of Trist, which is next door, was created for the purpose of safeguarding against people going to the Isle of Dragons. Okay? So that is the nature of this world. Now, what I want here, as far as an organization goes, is I want an organization of people who are basically patrolling the area and preventing folks to go. That's really it. That's what I want. I want an organization to do that. Changed how my name is displayed to annoy Rob. How annoying is my name to read on a scale of 1 to 10? Harum, it's I wouldn't say it's annoying, but I see between me and Rob, like, you're asking the word guy, right? Like Rob likes maths, I love words. So for me, I like word puzzles. So that's actually quite enjoyable for me. But I don't know about I don't know how Rob would say. Um, Okay, the thing I learned about world building is that the most important question is how does it affect your protagonist? Psh, I don't have protagonists. You're a protagonist. No. If you have a big creation myth about the world and how it came to be the supreme deity, yada yada, clap on the shoulder, blah blah blah. But if it plays no part in whatever new protagonist story in life, cut it. Well, see, here's the thing, AK. The thing about a good campaign setting is what you're talking about there is a good adventure, right? A campaign setting is not designed to it's not designed to be your plot. It's not designed to be your story. It's designed to make your world feel lived in. A good world is something that'll add depth to it. If you've ever played in a game, you'll kind of get to that point where you'll be like, I can tell that this is a cardboard town, right? Because I say, cool, what's in this town? And it's like a tree, a blacksmith, and a general store. It's like, okay, cool. This town for me is a cardboard town. It's a not lived in town. I have no idea. But if I turn to you and I say, actually, the town of Sandpoint is a great town at the edge of a large fishing, kind of like a large fishing village. They constantly are farming these very, very unique things called rainbow fin trout, which is, of course, themed a lot of the buildings here. You can see that there is, of course, the fishmongers market. You can see that there is the Trout's, Trout's haircut, which is an inn, a local tavern. Their local brew is called the, whatever you call it, like the brine brew or whatever. Again, by building the world, you create that sense of depth to it that allows your players to immerse better. And that's the thing. But yeah, I would definitely say I get where you're going, but there's a difference between world building for a plot or a story and world building for just world building. Yeah. Most important level of details should be no, because here's the thing: the world so I'm going to disagree with you flat out, like AK, because again it is important to build your plot around your players. It is important to build the world of your players around the adventure that they're going on, but it's not important for you to build your world around your players. Because here's the thing: if you're writing an adventure, doesn't matter who you are, right? If you're writing an adventure, then your objective is to, of course, get your players through that adventure. So you need to keep your protagonist in mind. If you are building a world for your players to travel in, that is like building a car around a driver. You don't do it. You build the car, they get in, and then they drive. I'm sorry, but I'm not shaking on that one. That's definitely it. Build your plot around your players, build your world so that your plot can exist and that your players can immerse into it. That's it. That's flat out it. Because that's like saying if my players aren't clerics, I'm not going to write gods. That's nonsensical. So there you go. Yeah. Okay. Are dragons somehow now kept on the island? Forbidden humans to the island? Is that with humans forbidden? Okay, well, this is a good question. So, let me share some details about... did I actually put a continent here? No, I didn't. Okay, let's add this to... Well, this is its own island, so I'm gonna just move these down a bit so I can organize this better. Continent 1, Continent 2, island. Okay, so new folder is the Isle of Dragons. All right, so here's what you know about the Isle of Dragons. All right, the Isle of Dragons. Number 1, forbidden island where the dragons were last seen. Michael, you can spell. So that is number 1. Number 2. The Dragonborn. Maybe this will be the organization. A group of Dragonborn known as the Keeper of the Disc of something. I don't know. Artifact. MacGuffin. Dragon MacGuffin. Yes. Dragonborn knows the keeper, blah, blah, blah. Ensure the island remains free of others. If you want to annoy him, Harem, you need to change the A to an at, the E to a 3, the U to a downward pointing chevron, which... Is there a downward pointing chevron? I've never seen it, but there should be one. There's not. Maybe make the A, instead of the at symbol, maybe make the A the upward pointing chevron, and then the S F5. There you go. That'll annoy him. All right. Chill. Yeah. All right. Crystal Dragon Eye. Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Well, I mean, dragons generally know. I mean, I always feel like dragons generally don't try to call their stuff out of their own body parts. You know, like Jerry's eye is not exactly a really cool sounding artifact. All right. So ensure the island remains free of others, so that they may protect the entrance to the sunken spire. The sunken spire is a pocket dimension where the evil dragons have been imprisoned in a timeless space with a multitude of layers to keep them at bay. It is an inescapable prison, and it is called the Sunken Spire. All right. The spire itself appears once every 10 years, and the Dragonborn of the Keepers of Blar trade shifts and then disappear for another decade. So that's kind of like how the Dragonborns here work. Now these Dragonborns, for me as well, so they are unique Dragonborn. I'm very tempted to say that they're like, I'm very tempted to say that they're Gem Dragonborn. Maybe I'll make them the Sapphire Dragonborn. Maybe, because I like Sapphire. Sapphire's cool. Okay, maybe I didn't express myself clearly. What I mean is look at history books. Whether there's actually a god or goddess, multiple gods didn't really play a big role in history. What? The religions, how people used it and lived, and wrote histories. AK, come on, man. Like, look, I don't get me wrong. And by the way, don't take this as me being annoyed. I'm absolutely not annoyed. So I would completely disagree, and I'm going to continue to disagree because I would just point out Greek mythology, for example. Same thing with Roman mythology. The actual stories of the gods were very important. In fact, they were part of the shaping of many cultures of history in terms of it. In fact, the basis of art and culture was actually a worship to the goddess Dionysus. The idea of actually storytelling came from those stage plays where they would share stories on a stage in order to try and educate people on lessons and laws given and dictated by it. I mean, if you're talking about, even if you're looking at Christian society, Hindu society, whichever, all of those cultural decisions and stuff like that came about from what was understood to be the interactions of the gods, right? The fact that Vishnu from Indian culture had such a strong relationship with his siblings is part of the tellings of the culture around so many different people and groups within that culture. And I hate to say it, dude. I'm sorry, but I feel as though that is just wrong. That's just incorrect fact. It's looking at history books, you will find so much of what is played in history due to the presence and growth and actions of the gods. And we're not talking about Bibles either. We're talking about like actual history books where you actually get to see, like you see on the hieroglyphics in Egypt, depictions of the journeys of the various gods. If you go to, again, the Greek pantheons and stuff like that, you see literally along the walls and the carvings of everything, the inspirations of their various gods and their deities, temples, like massive freaking structures to these tales and stories of these people. It's ingrained in everything. Absolutely. That's what I mean when I say depth. That's the depth of it. If it wasn't a part of it, you just wouldn't see it, and that's the thing. That's the ultimate truth of it. If, as you say, it wasn't a big part of history, we wouldn't know about it. I mean, I, as an Australian person in like, in 2021, would have no idea about, Greek mythology if it wasn't written down in history. Became a magical artifact to help them see around the island from there. Ooh, I like that. That's a cool one. Unique item. Magic scry around island. Yeah. Ooh. And you know what? Actually, let's also add something in here. So, the keeper organization. So let's look at this. So, keepers of the spire. I don't know what we're gonna call them. A group or a tribe of sapphire dragonborn who look after the sunken spire. Excuse me. Every 10 years, they rotate staff inside the sunken spire. And I love the idea that the day beforehand, the sapphire dragons are allowed to leave. Thank you, everyone. Are allowed to leave the island and go on Rumspringa. I don't know how to spell it, but I know what it means. But yeah, basically it's the same thing as the Amish have, where they get to leave and go and experience the world. I like the idea that the tribe stays on the island for the most part, but then they get to go out, try to exist in the world, try and like get around and and then they go back to the island and then do their 10-year stint, right? Like it seems like a nice thing that they would do. So I like that idea for the organization. I think that's a really, really cool element. It's a really cool element. All right. Yeah. No. Good. I'm glad. I know. You know me. I'm always trying to be a people pleaser, but there's certain things that I'm just like, neither do I want to be. You're not annoying, and I don't find annoying. I do love these as mental exercises because it means that I can stop and actually take stock of what I think, and I think that's super important. You need to always be aware of this, right? You've got to be open-minded to other people's ideas, and you also need to be willing to have disagreements because that's the nature of knowledge and education and how it works. So thank you, AK, for indulging me on that little exchange there. I want to throw out ideas and opinions in there and see what happens. Fair enough. Yeah, that's exactly what we should do. That's how ideas evolve. But yes, in a sense, I agree with you in the sense that that I think world building is not world building should have a nice impact on the players, but I think that comes about not because you write it around the players. There you go. Lag is killing me. Can't turn the video quality down. I'm gonna send you a message. There we go. Whisper my message. You don't want to whisper my message? I see how it is. Fine, don't worry. I will send it to you on this thing. Haha, try and stop me now, internet. Nope, it stopped me. Okay, there we go. There we go. Done. Okay, back to it. So we're talking about the island. So yeah, Sunken Spire. Dragons are there. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, what else should we build? What should we build on this island? What should we build on this island? So, it's a forbidden island where the dragons were last seen. We now know, or at least you now know, that the Sunken Spire is a magical... actually, you know what? Let's see if I can... Because there was an image that invoked my my feelings towards the Sunken Spire, and I want to see if I can find it because I would love to be able to show you guys it. But yeah, so what else should I build for this island? Traps, defenses, magic. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? While I very quickly look for this image. There's a really cool image too. Don't know if I'll find it. It's one of those ones that I found like years and years and years ago. Yeah, I don't think I'll find it. Alas, alas, alas. Let's see. The sunken what? What sunk the spire? Oh, okay, that's a good one. Okay, let's talk about the sunken spire. So, I've never really thought about what the spire is, right? It's always for me just been the prison. So, and don't laugh at me because, you know, I like anime. For those of you who are fans of One Piece, around the time that they were in the prison series known as NL's Down, I was getting into I was definitely getting into more of the like world building writing and stuff like that. So for me, the spire was always built on the idea of Impel Down. It is a multi-tiered prison with a number of different floors, and the further you sank, the worse the criminals were. So that was the idea behind it. So I actually made 10 floors, which were very much ripped off of One Piece. So I never actually used any of that, but we could definitely build it. As for what actually built the thing or what started it, I actually haven't given that any thought. So let's so Sunken Spire, an impressive iron structure with no visible entrance. It contains a pocket dimension that imprisons the last dragons. All right, there we go. The Sunken Spire. If you don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit into the wind, you don't mess with the old Lone Ranger, you don't challenge the internet. Riddles ensure that only the worthy, well-intended. Ooh, I like that. Perhaps a gatekeeper. Okay, yeah, maybe we'll look at that. Is this the only place in the world where the dragons are? Secrets. Short answer, yes. Real answer, no. There is one other dragon in the world, but no one knows about it. And I'm not going to tell you where it is. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to tell you that there is a like the big thing is that in my world it's like there are no more dragons. There's evidence there was dragons. So there's like drakes and kobolds and dragonborn and stuff like that. There is evidence of them. Plus, again, humans were created by dragons, so you know that was a thing. But the dragons themselves, the true dragons, are no longer there. They're no longer anywhere. But That is not the case, as there is one that I've lingered. Guardian, welcome in, welcome in. Please take a seat. My name is Michael, Dead Aussie Gamer. Nice to meet you. I do role-playing games. We are currently doing some world building, and we are creating a tower known as the Sunken Spire, a multi-dimensional prison that houses the dragons of my world. So, Origins, I guess, is a good place to start. Or what is? Let's look at because I've got a thing here. All right, here we go. So this is what's called a settlement stat block. And I love using it because, again, it's Pathfinder, and I love Pathfinder. And it allows me to decide how things should work. There we go. Okay, here we go. Cool. Okay, so let's do this. Title: Sunken Spire. Or we can give it a name. Something fancy. We'll give it a fancy name. We'll come up with one. Nation. The Dragon. The Isle of Dragons. Region. Dimensional plane in the Lake of Tears. Lake of Tears is, as you might be able to see, let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, so Dragon Tier Lake is here. Slowly working up in my free, on my own in my free time, coming up with D&D campaign starting in January, February. Nice. Well, I run a ton of games, and if you ever want to spitball ideas, feel free. Also, I have a Discord. You are more than any of you, and all of you are more than welcome to come hang out. If you tag me in stuff, I will notice it. If I don't notice it, otherwise, then it might take me a little bit. So, okay, here we go. It's really awesome how portable some tools and tables can be between systems. Yes, absolutely. Oh my god. I can't change anything capitalization unless I change my actual username. Time to change. Haram, you are going so far and beyond to try and annoy poor Rob. My hat off to you. I think he deserves it. Bloody troll. More Discords. I'm in so many. Oh man, don't even get me started. Do not get me started. There are so many Discords. There are. Look, my one's very casual, and the only notifications you'll get are like from when I go live. So, ultimately, if you don't take notifications on it, then I'm okay with that. All right. Size. I have a size. I have a size graph. Hold on. Let me size graph this up. It was. Okay, so that's 500. So that's 500. Yeah. I'm doing this very old school. So it's about 500 kilometers-ish. Yeah, okay, so it's about 500 kilometers. So let's write that down. 500 kilometers shore to shore. For my world, I'm leaning more on the typical high fantasy aesthetic, but flavoring it with a nice sprinkle of grimdark. Ooh, nice. I do like me some grimdark. Grimdark stories. If you hear from anyone, I definitely love my horror. Population. How many? Demographic. Sapphire. Gemstone. Dragonborn. And there should be 100% of these guys, because there is no other people there. I love to troll. All right. How many people should we populate it with? Let's random roll some things. Could I get someone in chat to roll me a D? Let's go with a D20. D20. So exclamation mark D20. First person in chat gets it. And then exclamation mark D100. A 1. A 1 myth. Okay, very well. And a D100. 64. So there is 1,640 people on this island. That's not many. That is a small town, if anything. D100 is an 18. Now, you know what? Let's give it another 18. 58. There we go. That's a nice number. 1,658. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Okay, so there we go. Demographics are the Sapphire Dragons. Government. I think it's a tribe. Maybe an autocracy. And the person is the keeper. Or would it be religious, maybe? Let's see. Town. Types of town hierarchy. Types of town leadership. Is that what I'm looking for? I'm trying to find out like what are the types of town, like how do types of government maybe. So there's a commission, council. Should there be a council? What do you guys think? Council, a single leader. I think. See, I like the idea of the wise one. Go and speak to the wise one. They are wise. So that could work. So an autocracy is a government which is ruled by you know, like the one person, right? But it's not a dictatorship. So it's you know, like just the keeper is the one who supposedly speaks on behalf of the keepers. They know the most. Yada yada yada. There we go. Closing networks. Yay! All right. Next bit of writing I need to do is figure out the distribution of various ancestries for each country, creating a table to roll on for each. Yeah, that's really cool. Theocratic as the kobold influence of the worshipping spread into the larger populations. Oh, you mean for mine? No, unfortunately there are no kobolds on this island. Only Sapphire Dragonborns, and they're all technically from the same family. It is a wide family, so it's not like they're all related to the same dragon, but they are, you know, like, go back far enough and they're all pretty much from the same area. Theocratic, yeah. So these Dragonborns are more like think like Glade Druids, very similar to that. Hey Dag, looking for Whisper Inspiration. Can you recommend an undead creature challenging for a party of 5th level of interest, struggling to find a solo monster to cut it without being overkill? A good question. 5e, I imagine. Is it 5th edition? 5e, yes. Are you looking specifically for an undead? Are you looking for a fight is my question. Because here's the thing. A lot of people tend to lean towards fights in order to beat encounters. One of the things I love, especially when dealing with the undead, is the concept of disease rather than the undead. So there's a creature in 5e called the Bodak. It's a CR9, you know, like chaotic evil undead. They basically saw something so horrifying they transformed into an undead. And anyone that sees or meets their gaze has a potential of transforming into one of these creatures. Now, for me, they're the easiest way to start a zombie apocalypse. And And it's very easy for you to kind of modify that a little bit. So rather than looking at it from this is one undead encounter, you could just have a bunch of zombies appear, but the zombies have their eyes burnt out. So kind of we retune it a little bit. So a bunch of zombies, right? Like a large number of them, but they just keep coming. And the CR isn't necessarily from the monster, but from the fact that you need to basically push past the zombies to get to the Bodak and land the killing blow. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's a really cool idea if that's what you're after. It has to be an undead and a fight. The party done wrong. Okay, yeah. So yeah, just endless streams of undead the group needs to wade through. They can't sit around killing everything, which is going to be hilarious. Use a Bodak and make the Bodak only have like 10 hit points left. Or maybe about 10 hit points left. It's not a fight with the Bodak, it's a fight with the undead, and once they die, once the undead die, then Issue is they effed up the negotiation. Now it's like, well, now you just have to deal with this. No options left. Oh, okay, so like a champion arena type thing. Okay, I'm with you. I know what you're doing. Excellent question. I will have a think on that, and I will get back to you. All right, so let's dip back here real quick. There's a nice doc in DMs guild called Template Treasury. Yeah, no, templates are awesome. I love templates. Okay. So, what if it was wise to not be a particularly old person? What if their wise one would not be a particularly old person? What if it's one who tends to get a lot of bias? What if the wise one was a child oracle? Okay. I like the idea. I'm willing to chew on that a little bit. So the idea behind a child oracle has always been one of manipulation. Like, that's the idea behind the child oracle. It's telling people that, like, hey, this child sees the future and you should listen to this. So often there's a manipulating hand as the child doesn't actually have any managerial skills and they're easy to manipulate. That's the general vibe you get from those type of characters. I would say these guys are supposed to be quite magnanimous. You have a subscriber on YouTube, don't even put content. Yeah, it happens. See, anyone can be YouTube famous. No. I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. I think the child wouldn't work, but I do like the idea of it not being an old man. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, throw out your best ideas for a single leader of a tribe of Sapphire Dragonborn that does not involve an old man, basically. And while you're doing that, I'm going to pop up Hero Forge, and we're going to make him. We're going to make them. All right, and also for you, I would go, depending on your party makeup, 2 or 3 of these creatures, by the way. They're nice, simple, and if you describe them correctly, will scare the living crap out of your players. Fueled by the youngest unmarried maiden. Ooh, I like that idea. That's a good one. That's a really good one. That's a good one. Druids, they don't age. No, I mean, we haven't talked about aging, but I don't see why they wouldn't need to age. Don't know if it helps, but I added a different type of zombie called a plague zombie. They're basically walking to zombies. Yeah, well, yeah, plague zombies are around. Yeah, plague zombies. Female shaman healer, blue dragon form for Sapphire one. Depending on the tribe, do you want to keep the dragons buried or do they want to bring them back? No. These are guardians. They're keeping them locked away, and this is a kind of a united feeling. Like There is no one who believes the dragons should come back, and they consider it their sacred duty to keep the dragons away. All right, I'm hearing a lot towards the high priestess, so that's what I'm leaning on. That's what I am leaning on. I like that. I like that idea. What do the Sahugan Sapphire Dragonborn? Let's just have a quick look. What do the Sapphire Dragonborn look like? Okay. So this is the, where is it? This is a Sapphire Dragon, flat out. Nice, shiny, pretty. This is the iconic Sapphire Dragonborn here in the corner there. Okay. Making floating gems is not going to happen, just FYI, just before anyone gets their hopes up. How about there being more than one being? I like the idea that there's only one, mostly because if my party goes here, I kind of want to have them be able to deal with one dragon as opposed one person instead of like a bunch of them. What if what if actually, you know what, I should probably do that while I remember. New, do not save. What if there was a dummy leader? What if there was a what if we had the traditional, kind of old man sage kind of person, but it was actually the female oracle who was like the priestess who was involved with, she was the actual leader, and the only person who knew about that were the people, right? So the old man was always there. If for some reason people have broken the treaty and ended up on the Isle of Dragons, the old man would be the one who would serve as the arbiter and yada yada yada. But in actuality, it was this priestess. Kind of like that idea. What do you guys think? Single benevolent hive mind? No. Just straight up no. Because hive minds communicate a lack of free will and a lack of self-control. The thing is that everything you do when you create and when you world build has connotations of what you make of it, right? So hive minds are associated very commonly with the idea that you have no choice or no willpower. With the Dragonborn of this, I want them to be I want them to have made the choice. I want them to decide to do this. That's why adding in the ritual of like Rumspringer, for example, was very important. It's like, yes, no, I want you to feel as though you can these guys have a choice. They can leave and they can go out there into the world and do other things, but have chosen to come back and be a part of the culture and be a part of the tribe. Thank you so much to Brain Beast Studios. Welcome in. With a name like that, I presume that you are a streamer of some variety. What do you stream? What do you do, buddy? Let me know. Let us know in chat. None of those, thank you. No, don't need to apologize. All ideas are welcome. All ideas are very, very welcome. But I'll always explore ideas. The thing is again, the important thing to always remember is when you're exploring ideas, it's good to have bad ideas. It's good to have good ideas. As important, in fact, just because it's important to always remember that chewing on what your thought process is what's going to ultimately decide your best ideas, right? If you just sit there and go, yes, let's arbitrarily use this, then of course you're not going to come up with, like choice ideas. But if you give yourself time, if you pace it, if you throw around multiple ideas, that's when you're going to make something really special and really awesome. I think flavoring the Dragon Balls with the element of the Rasta chill could be a fun twist on things. I think culture-wise, and that's an interesting point. What culture do we want to look at? I think culture-wise, I would definitely see. I would definitely see these Dragonborn being a bit more. Maybe a bit more. What's the word? I could definitely see the Dragonborn being a bit more like Native American, maybe, or Roman, or Latin, or Greek, just to kind of emphasize that the age difference. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Yeah, it's a toughie. Lizard folks always look funny with hair. All right, let's do this. Let's do this properly. Okay, so let's. Those are too big. Can I scale them down? Please let me scale them down. I'm gonna make them bigger. Jesus. No, I want smaller horns, please. Oh, you know, these are okay. These are okay. Let's adjust those a little bit. Okay, and then we'll add in maybe add in some, maybe add in a headpiece. Yeah, that'll work. I like that. All right, and then let's go with the oracle pieces. Okay, and then we'll add in. You don't need much jewelry, right? Like you don't like, because we want these guys to look relatively modest. We don't want them to look like too modest, but relatively speaking. Maybe there we go. All right, it's a nice simple one there. Ooh, some new Hero Forge stuff. Two-handed beard axe. That's kind of cool. I like that. Claw of the Righteous. Ooh, that's kind of cool too. Man, they really cut it. They really go all out. They really do. But that's not what we're after. Oracle, I think, should have a. Probably not a futuristic hoop. Maybe a chakram. I think a chakram would be kind of cool. A lantern would be good, or a torch. Oh, I think a torch would be nice. I actually think a torch is really cool. And then let's add add to the side? Can we add the chakram to the side? Yes. I think that's the one. Good. We can adjust that a little bit. Good. Yeah, I always like this cloak for a lot of them. Eyes. I think eyes are pretty good. Or maybe we could go with the blind oracle. Is the blind oracle a thing? I don't know. I feel like an American thing is happening there. Let's see. Do these dragonborns believe in reincarnations? In that case, the leader works somewhere like the Dalai Lama. They found the child. Yeah, I think that's an interesting idea. The Keeper. Origins. The Keeper. Believed to be a reincarnation of previous keeper. Yeah, okay, cool. I think that gives me a good idea with that one. I like that. A little hung up on why the Sapphire Dragonborn agreed to keep their ancestors imprisoned. Were the dragons just a huge destructive force? So, the dragons originally were very power hungry. They were incredibly power hungry, and the original origins of them is that they were very not only were they power hungry, but they specialized in suffering and misery and the like at that expense, to the point where they even had a number of servitor races who were responsible for who were basically being manipulated by the Dragonborn. The dragons. The Dragonborn were among them. So while they bear the marks of them, this was the dragon's first attempts at trying to create a servitor race. So that's where kobolds and dragonborns originally came from. Now, when the Dragon Wars broke out, it actually took a while for people to warm up to the other races, the dragon races. But humans, looking so non-dragony, were actually, very readily accepted by the dwarves and the elves and stuff like that. But the Dragonborn, who still bear a very strong resemblance, didn't ever really kind of shake that sense of people looking at them and going, "Oh, you're a Dragonborn, therefore you're a dragon." So they resent real dragons quite a lot, for a number of different reasons. But chief among it is, they've never been able to really get over the sins of their forebears, as it were. Why the sapphire dragons? Well, one, sapphire is my favorite thing, so I'm making them the sapphire ones. And as for why they decide to do it, for them, I like to say that it was it feels like one of those it's an honored duty. It is of all the different types of dragons that were around at that time, the sapphire dragons were the ones who turned around and said, we'll take this upon ourselves. We will make this our duty to ensure that the destructive dragons of our past remain buried, and no one comes to disturb their slumber. So I think that's not bad. I think that's better. I like that one. Yep. not sure about the head thing. Again, not sure about that one. I wish there were more hats that actually fit on these particular models. There really isn't many, unfortunately. Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, definitely not. All right, that's fine. Then we go here. Sorry, I'm taking a little bit longer than I thought I would. Okay. So as you can see there, I've used a darker kind of a yellowy color. This is the bulky beige for the main. It's one of my favorite colors of off-white. But then I've used the tidy whitey to like accent the other pieces, just so that I can create depth in that white. So when you're creating a white color for your background, you don't want to just use like flat out white. You want to make sure that you've got a couple of striking colors that stand out. Now, because we're using blue skin, we don't want to deviate too far away from the blue, but you do want to make sure that that stands out a little bit against that. Yep, there we go. So something like that, for example, stands out. And you want to tie in as many of the those colors as you can. So if you've got like a blue palette, you want to use the blues and the greens to kind of accent those. Then yeah, sure, go ahead, use them, because they will make that look really nice. But don't go overboard. All right. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Add a bit of silver. Some of that dark blue, maybe. There we go. And then we alter that pose, move this just around so that it sits on the hip. And then we change the hand grasp. So that way it looks like she's grabbing onto the basically, yeah, the idea is to make it look like she's grabbing onto the piece here. There we go. And bam. All right, not the best of my work, but for right now, I think that'll be there you go. All right, so for right now, I think that's okay. And then we've got our little torch here. Nice and easy bits. Nice, easy torch light. And make that orange a bit. Up, across. And then lower that intensity right down, and bam! There we go. We have our Princess Oracle. Done. Is gunpowder a thing in Aulestria? Yes, 100% it is. Ugh, there we go. Oh, so we have our Dragonborn. So this will be the makeshift leader. So I'm just gonna rename the Keeper like that. All right. Let's catch up on chat real quick before I forget. Little hung up on the Sapphire Dragon. Is there hope of redemption for the dragons? At the moment, no. All the evil dragons and good dragons have been sealed in the spire. The good dragons are basically they are what's the word? The good dragons are repenting for their actions as evil dragons, and the evil dragons are trying to break free. So that is the nature of it. Give the Oracle a gun. Well, no. So guns are exclusively in the area of the map that was the Crescent Moon, because they don't have magic, so they built guns, and they built steam engines and stuff like that. If there was ever a place for the origins of the Way of the Ascended Dragon Monk, this is it. Yeah, you know what? I definitely see that. I can definitely see that, Guardian, like 100%. Did the Sapphire Dragonborn have major guilt over the crimes of their ancestors, or were there ever any Sapphire Dragons, or the species of Dragonborn who were created to keep the dragons imprisoned? Good question. Let's explore that, shall we? So, let's see. So we got the Autocracy, the Keeper, believed to be a reincarnation of the previous Keeper. They are safeguarded by a family led by the eldest member till they come of age. Okay, cool. Origins. The Dragon Wars were a long-fought conflict between the races of Aulestria and the race of the dragons. At its conclusion, the metallic dragons, who had allied themselves with the races, with the humans, elves, dwarves, with the people of Aulestria. At its conclusion, the metallic dragons who had allied themselves with the people of Aulestria decided that for history to heal, the dragons must leave. The true dragons, the evil dragons, chromatic dragons would be imprisoned in a great structure built from something. I need to go. My phone is as hot as freaking sun. Oh man, yeah. You gotta love when your phone like burns your ear off. Yeah, no worries. Bye, Haram. Big love, big love. What do we want to make the spire out of? What was it created from? I don't want to do the Tarask because I've got enough stuff made from that guy. A piece of fallen star. Piece of fallen sky. That kind of sounds cool. the infinite black piece of the shadow plane. Drawn from the heart of a dying dragon. Built from the body, the corpse of the last platinum dragon. That could be kind of cool. What do you think? That could be kind of cool. Piece of a mysterious spaceship. Look, we're not going to throw aliens in there just yet. Night AK. Oh, no, wait. No, they're not leaving. Oh, wait, what was I saying? Sorry. Night Harem. I'm reading. Idea. Make 3 oracles. They commune, meditate, and as a triad and form a temporary connection with each, unlocking their oracle abilities, but also share whatever knowledge they have through said meditation, so the members that rotate in and out are more knowledgeable as the communal bond. I do like the idea that the inherited memory would be a thing for this one, but here's the catch. I think the Trinidad of oracles, for me, is very indicative of witchcraft because of the whole idea of the hags and stuff like that. So the reason I wouldn't do that is just for that reason. Yeah, see, I don't want to use the Tarrasque anymore, mostly because I have so much stuff for the Tarrasque. So the chromatic drivers will be imprisoned in a great structure built from steel, forged from magisteel, forged within the flames of Senegal, the last platinum dragon. Maybe Bahamut. I mean, I can use Bahamut, right? That's a whole thing. I mean, is Bahamut and Tiamat copyright? Is Bahamut dragon god copyright? So they're subject to copyrights, but is Bahamut? It's not. I don't know if it's copyrighted or not. I believe Dag wants to be gone. I am sad, but I will complain, not because of the time, but purely because of Dag. Alright. Well, I'm sorry, AK. Cheeky bastard. Look, I don't know. I don't know if he's copyrighted. If anyone knows, if anyone finds out, let me know. Let me know. So it's a weird hodgepodge of metals. Yeah, that's the vibe I'm kind of digging up, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, so it's a great structure built from magisteel, forged within the flames of Senegal, the last platinum dragon, who would be imprisoned within a great structure built from magisteel, forged within the flames of Senegal, the last platinum dragon. This towering spire would be this towering structure, this towering building. Don't describe it. This prison would be known as the Sunken Spire. A multi-dimensional pocket dimension that appears once every 10 years upon the Lake of Dragon Tears, so that its guardians, a tribe of Sapphire Dragonborn, may rotate with one another. The inside is impossibly large, with infinite rooms, corridors, and chambers. However, each floor leads down further into the depths of the sunken spire. Where it is said that the worst of the dragons were kept. All right. The prison also housed the metallic dragons, the good dragons, who fought to end the war. These martyrs? I wouldn't say martyrs. I mean, like, these dragons were afforded some level of comfort in a town called something. We'll come up with a name. In which they may choose their form and live peacefully during their timeless captivity. Bam! There it is. Hey, what's up, Phalanx? Thank you so much for the sub drop. What's up? Let me scroll back up. Your magic ring redemption on CC, literally preventing a TBK right now. Nice. Awesome. How are they doing over there? I haven't had a chance to check that at the moment. But yay! That's awesome. That's really cool. I'm glad that it was useful. Are they doing that right now? Have I missed my notifications? Let me just quickly put my head over and let's have a look. Yeah, they are. Look at that. What time are we at? Oh man, we're over time though. But let me finish this, and you know what? We'll go and raid them straight after, so that we can go and give them our support. How about that? Thank you for popping by and letting us know, Phalanx, and yeah, we'll do that in a second. All right. So we're in world building mode at the moment. So I've been like, all right. So where are we at? Yeah, inside. So we've built the spire. Spire's impossibly large. We've got a level, like a floor, which the good dragons are doing really, really well at. Then okay. So the keepers of the spire. All right. Led by a dragonborn who was born led by the reincarnation of the original leader of the dragonborn tribe. They strive to care over the Isle of Dragons and protect the spire's resting place during its absence. Here, the Dragonborn train hard as scholars, sages, and monks, all in an effort to ensure that if any dragon attempts to escape the spire, they will be met with resistance. It is commonly believed that the keepers are there to prevent people from stealing artifacts and knowledge from the ancient Dragon Empire. A reputation they enjoy cultivating. In truth, there is little to gain. No, that's crap. I don't like that. In truth, they are driven by the duty given to them by their forebearer, Galandriel. Galandriel? Is that a name? Galandriel? Gylandrielle. Galandriel. A great sapphire dragon who chose to sit idle during the war, and in doing so lost her mate. She vowed to never allow her pain and apathy to bring suffering to others, and afforded freedom to her children, but asked if those that would continue to believe in her to stay and ensure none of the dragons return, including herself. And that is the nature of the Sunken Spire. Plot hooks. Explore the island. Find old dragon ruins. Meet with the keepers. Break into the Sunken Spire. Stop a breakout of the Sunken Spire. Accidentally remove or weaken the keepers during a shift change. That could be kind of a mean one too, like if the group goes in, fights the keepers, and then when the spire returns, all the keepers are badly injured and unfit for duty. It would be amazing to then see that kind of happen and be like, you know, oh my god, like what do we do with this? Like how do we deal? So that'd be amazing. That'd be awesome. All right. I think we've got it. I think we've built the Sunken Spire. I'm going to. Sorry, Myth. I know it's really bad. It's really bad. Actually, no. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna get real now. This weekend has been a nightmare. My cats, all three of them, have picked up gastro, and we've got some very, very big vet bills that have just come in. So I've been up with them, just like keeping them happy and safe and stuff like that. So I do apologize today. I'm a little bit tired. It's not anyone else's concern and stuff. I'm just trying to, be like, yeah, I'm a little exhausted, but that's okay because I love them so very much, and I would not do anything differently. But my sleep schedule, which is already pretty far-botched, is definitely is suffering a little bit, but that's okay. That's fine. All right, so Careful Cantrip is on a break at the moment, so we're going to do a little bit more, and then we're going to raid them just as they come back. So yeah. Yay! What if I want to be concerned about my cats? Well, you can be concerned about my cats. They're okay now. They're okay. You know that thing where you're like, oh, my cats are really sick, or this kind of happens, and then you're just like, like, hey, like, vet, what's wrong? And they're like, oh, it's probably these things. Here's all the antibiotics, and then you bring them home, and they're like, oh, we're not that bad off. How it's like, oh yeah, we're fine. So they're on the bounce back, which is good. Oh, thank you so much, Myth. Oh, you didn't have to do that, but thank you. It's still very, very, very appreciated. It does mean a lot. It does mean absolutely a lot. And like I said, I'm actually so here's the thing. I'm not planning anything big. I'm not for the month of December. I've said I'm not going to, but I want to try and raise some funds as well for Dread and his family, just to like get him something nice for Christmas, if I can. That's what I'm aiming for. So thank you. If that won't go towards helping with some of my vet bills, that'll definitely be going towards helping Dread fam with Christmas, because I think Christmas is important, especially for young Linky. So I'm going to actually. Do you want to see what I'm going to send young Linky? I'm going to show you what I'm going to send him. I'm actually going to send him something. Hold on. I'll show you the present. I'll show you a present. I'm going to send Link. Here you go. Got Link a little Paizo goblin. It's a little lick-toed goblin. Hello. There you go. So I'm going to send that to Link. And hopefully I'm going to get some a few extra little things for Mum and Dad as well. Because, they've had just such a rough year. And I love Dread. I really do. Yeah, so that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen because yeah, it's what people do. Yeah. All right. So before we sign out, because of course, like I said, we're gonna wait for Careful Cantrip to come back online. Do you guys have any questions about my world or any of the things that we've been building? Like seriously, anything at all, I will talk about right now. Because today was very impromptu and it was very much just hey, come hang out. Yeah. So even if you guys have got questions like, like UK did about like, your own games and stuff, let me know and I'll be more than happy to answer. Could be anything. Could be just, life, love, people, movies. I very much want to go see Encanto. Oh my God. Like I really want to go see that movie. Like it's so good. It looks so good. It's not out yet, but it's definitely one I want to see. It like triggers my eldest sibling syndrome, like because the one of the songs that they advertised was this thing about the eldest sister like carrying the weight of the family and stuff on their shoulders, and I'm like, man, I could see that in my mom, and I could see how that used to be very much me. So I was like, it's very cool. It's out here. Come by and we'll go see it. Oh man, I'd love to. Actually, I promised I'd go see it with Winter's Tales. When our schedules decide to not be so sucky. But it's so good. It looks so good. It looks amazing. Disney is always so on point. Look, here's what I want to do. One day, I want to go and find out that they're doing an Australian Disney tale, and I will fight tooth and nail to try and be in that movie. I want to be in a Disney. I want to be in a Aussie Disney movie, 100%. Doesn't care what I voice. I don't care what I do. I want to voice something, anything. Yep. Want an excuse. I love streaming where we hang out. It's very relaxing. It is. It's incredibly relaxing. Oh, actually, do you want to know something really funny? I've been thinking about an idea for a subclass that I'm going to be putting in my campaign world. And it is going to be kind of based, but not exactly like the numerologist from Satine's game. So I'm going to basically create accounting magic, where you can actually borrow magic as a numerical value, but then you have to pay it back. So if you add like 2d6 to your fireball, for example, your GM can then take 2d6 at any point in time from you. So you might turn around and be like, firebolt, cool. Your firebolt like goes off, but you've lost some of it, so the books are balanced. Might go see it, but waiting to see it with my best friend. She's a bit sick right now. Oh, I'm sorry that she's sick. Yay! 700 followers over on Careful Cantrip. That's awesome. Congratulations, Cantripians. I want to call them trippers, but I feel like that's a little weird, isn't it? Isn't it calling someone trippers? All right. Well, I don't think we have any questions, but I'm gonna keep talking because that's what we're doing. Let's see. Not sure if you knew, but Crimson Rockstar said that there's a world building tag for Twitch now. Is there? No. Let me check that. I'm getting over a nasty cold I've had. Couldn't afford to miss work, but now I need to go to second. But now I need a second job just because I got sick. Oh man, that's rough. That's rough, newbie. I definitely get that. It's not the first time in my life I've needed multiple jobs in order to get by. It's really terrible because you get to a point where you can't afford to get sick, or you feel like you can't afford to get sick. And I think that's just awful. What kind of world do we live in where we need to work so hard to get by that you need 2 jobs and you can't afford to be unwell? I mean, look, I'm not a communist, but I definitely can see the merit of people digging deep and helping each other out. That's all I'm saying is I get the idea of yeah, okay, cool. Make the time to, feel better and do the things that you can use to get better. I mean, look, I mean, to give you a point, a friend of mine had a $700 doctor's bill, right? And then he, it's like, well, what do I do about this? I don't have that money. I can't afford to take work, but I need surgery and yada yada yada. And it's like, well, of course, I went and helped him out. I gave him money and I said, yeah, we'll help you get by, but. Yeah, I don't know, man. The world should be what it is, with everyone looking out for each other, people sharing and making things work. But yeah, it's is the skeleton Van Gogh. It is the Dead Aussie artist. It is my Hero 4G arts thing. All right, looks like Careful Cantrip is back. Also, thank you so much to everyone who came and joined us today. Sandberg Fries, thank you for the follow, and thank you for hanging out. We are going to be back tonight for Curse of Strahd. Hi, Sumgen. Hey, we're just signing out, but go hang out because we are about to go and raid Careful Cantrip. Now, guys, if you haven't been to my channel before, my name is Michael. I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer. I run a whole bunch of D&D games here on Twitch, on YouTube, and a bunch of other places. I am going to be back tonight with Curse of Strahd. Tomorrow we will maybe be doing Ruby Phoenix. We are missing a couple of players, but depending on how that goes, we may have to cancel. We will find out. Saturday we have Strange Aeons, and then Sunday we are back with Rise of the Rune Lords, where we will be embarking on our epic journey up the mountains of Hook Mountains, playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition. So stay tuned for all of those. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful rest of your evening. Please enjoy the folks over at Careful Cantrip. Until we meet again, as always, from me to you, game hard or die trying. Also, hi, Odd Bandicoot. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're awesome. I know you are awesome, but I hope you remain awesome. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you very, 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 very soon. Ta-ra! Oh, wait, no. Before I go. I should probably advertise my own thing. I don't have an ad for it because it took my players so long to do it. So you know, 11:15 a.m. Australian Western Standard Time, whatever time that happens to be. So in half an hour from right now, right? Half an hour from right now on Saturday for me, so in 2 days, I'm going to give you a glimpse of something I'm doing. Bum, 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 bum. I will be hosting a PvP battle arena called the Infernodrome. We are going to be doing that for charity, so I will have details coming up. So stay tuned for that. Watch out for it. It'll be awesome. It'll be amazing. And behold, this is my character over here. His name is His name is Sinclair because he's a tiefling and I like puns. Okay, we're leaving now. Okay, bye. Bye. It's not Robin Dread. They're not here. Okay, bye.